Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, we're going to be going over the top 5 solo ways to make money in GTA 5 online. Now, I was thinking I could do a top 10 video, but why would I do that when you've got the top 5? Why would you do the other 5? Now, I do want to say this is personal preference. Some people enjoy some things over others, and I'll go over that a little bit in this video. But if you want to buy one of these that you can see behind me, a beautiful mansion, I would definitely recommend trying these out for yourself. So first and foremost, it should go without saying that you should always pay attention to the weekly bonuses, because even some of these that are in my number 1, 2, and 3 spot could pay less than whatever the weekly bonus is. A good example of this is recently we had the Super Yacht Life missions. No one likes doing those. You don't make a lot of money from it. But recently we had 5 times pay on it. So you could make over $1 million an hour doing that. And obviously, that is going to be a better way to make money than a lot of the things on this list. So just make sure you subscribe with notifications on, because every week I give you the weekly update guide, going over everything that's on sale, all of the business bonuses, and what I think you should be focusing on for the week. Beautiful view. Like I say, you want to own one of these mansions, man. But with all of that being said, imagine if you get the weekly bonuses on one of these businesses, then it's going to make it absolutely insane. All right, guys, so we're going to go in order 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So in the number 5 spot that I believe is the best solo way to make money in this game, and this one is beginner friendly for everyone as well, is the Clucking Farm Raid. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great way to make money, especially for solo players. The Clucking Farm Raid has a selection of setup missions, and then once you complete those, you go on to the finale, the actual raid. So how much money can you make from the Clucking Farm Raid, and how do you start this up? Well, the Clucking Farm Raid, if it's your first playthrough of this, you can make $750,000, and it'll take you less than an hour to do. So that's $750,000 in less than an hour. Now, once you've done it the first time, you'll be making around $500,000 an hour, which doesn't seem like that much, but it is when you compare it to other things, and the fact that you don't need to pay for this. You don't need to pay for setup missions. You don't need to pay for a business in order to be able to do it. Anyone from a level 1 to a level 1000 can jump in and do this at any time. So how do you do it exactly? So if you just log into the game, you should get a call from Vincent. And when you get that call, you can see on your minimap, it's going to show up this V right here. And all you need to do, you can see the Clucking Farm Raid right there. All you need to do is head over to that V, and it will start launching these missions. So here we are at the V. You can see on the minimap, if you walk on into this circle, and for me, it's replay because I've already done it. But for you, it'll be the first time. So you can see Slush Front, and then you have all of these setup missions right here, and then the finale, which is going to be the actual raid itself. As I say, doesn't take too long. Maybe do it the first time, get familiar with it, and then when you start recompleting it, it's just going to be easier and easier every time you do it. Just make sure you always fill up on snacks and armor. Now, if you want a guide to any of the businesses and missions that I'm talking about in this video today, they'll all be in order in the description down below. So in our number 4 spot, the 4th best way to make money as a solo player is this right here, the agency. Now, I feel like I would be stupid not to put this on my list. It is definitely a good way to make money. Not only that, you have your armory here. Now, this is part of the upgrades and modifications, so it doesn't come with it. But you have armory, you have snacks, and you have the Dre contract. As well as that, though, you got VIP missions and payphone hits. So this is a great way to make money, especially if you're somebody that likes grinding out businesses and like grinding out missions to make money. But for that reason, it's usually why I don't personally do this one very often. But especially if this goes 2 times pay, you're looking at $2 million an hour. So you can see right there, my wall safe is full at $250,000. Now, that's great. It's a passive business with that safe. Doesn't make too much money as much as some of the other businesses, but it's still great either way. But this is why it's amazing. You got the security contracts, you can see right here, and these pit things are paying what, 47,000, and there's different levels of it as well. You can see right down there, mine says specialist. They're just completely randomized. But when this is 2 times pay, you're making big money. But I would say the main reason people love this business is the VIP contract, so the Dre missions. Now, if you've done this multiple times and you got used to it, you can complete this in around an hour and 30 minutes. But I would say on average, especially for newer players, you're looking at around 2 hours to complete. Now, you can see the payout there at the bottom is $1 million. Now, everyone's different, and for me, you guys know I love playing the Cayo Perico heist, and I can replay that over and over again. But with the Dre missions, it just gets very repetitive to me, but I know a lot of people don't care about that. A lot of people see this the same way I see Cayo Perico, and honestly, doing this the first time playthrough was a lot of fun, and I highly recommend that you guys jump in and do it at least once, but you may just fall in love with it. There used to be awful awful cutscenes. They were actually pretty good when you watched them the first time. But then the second, third, fourth, fifth time, you couldn't skip them. Rockstar has now made it so you can skip those cutscenes. So that makes it a little bit better. But all in all, if you're a solo player trying to make money, that is why this is in my 4th spot. You can do it solo. All right, guys, we are moving on to the number 3 spot, which is this right here. The Hangar. Now, for the Hangar, it's going to be kind of a two-parter. But the reason I love this as a solo business is because not only are you going to make millions of dollars an hour, but there's also 2 variations that I'm going to talk about here, and they're both solo-friendly. So in order to do these Hangar missions, you're going to have to own a hangar. And for that, you're going to go to Maze Bank, click on Hangars. Now, there's a couple down here. I would honestly recommend one of these up here, especially if you're a newer player. Just being able to fly over Fort Zancudo is going to make your life so much better. But anyway, I have this one. I believe it's the cheapest one, to be completely honest with you. But either way, this is the one that I have. As far as renovations, you don't really need anything. I would always get living quarters so you can fast travel to it. And even the workshop, you don't really need. So to start up missions at your hangar, you come into your office, take a little seat right here. And this is it. It is so much fun. I don't have anything right now. But the best ways to do this is go to source. And then what I would recommend, if you're going to be doing this for like an hour, is just go arts and antiques and then do that source mission. As soon as you come back, there's a cooldown. So then you just go to this one next to it and you do that one, and then there's a cooldown for this one. So then you go back to this one. You just keep going back and forth between the two. And let's say I select this one and we're about to start up. Always do the land. Always do the land source missions and sell missions, because it's just so much faster. If you have an Oppressor Mark II, a Sparrow, an F-160 Reiju, any of these vehicles, you'll be able to go back and forth, and it'll literally take you anywhere from like 2 to 4 minutes. And you're probably thinking, there's no way. Like I say, there'll be guides in the description down below. Now, this is one of those businesses that is more for people that like grinding out. Maybe you have a podcast on in the background, or maybe you have a live stream of somebody you're watching and you're just going back and forth. It's very repetitive, but I actually don't mind it. I like having like a live stream up that I'm watching while just going back and forth doing it. It's something that's more enjoyable to me than doing like the agency, where I've got to physically be paying attention and doing like missions. With this, I just go back and forth, super easy. And that to me is why this is in my number 3 spot. But also I said it was a dual one, and that's because of this right here. This is technically another hangar. Now, this doesn't come with the other hangar. You do have to purchase it, but it is still a hangar. This is the Mackenzie Field hangar, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is also solo friendly, and it's just a series of setup missions and then a finale. And to do this, you're just going to go ahead, go onto this computer right here, and I will have a guide for this in the description down below as well. And you can see there's Oscar Guzman flies again, or request work. The Oscar Guzman flies again is the one you're going to want to do, and similarly to the Clucking Bell farm raid, there's like some setup missions and then the finale. But now this does pay more than the Clucking Bell farm raid, hence it's higher up on my list of things to do, and it is solo friendly, and you can also do it with friends though if you want. But for this right here, if it's 2 times pay, you're looking at like 1.5 million an hour. But even without 2 times pay, you're looking at like $750,000 an hour. Now, this is one of those ones where you have to be present, right? You have to actually go through the series of all of the missions until you get to the finale. Same as the Clucking Bell farm raid, same as the agency, and unlike the hangar we just talked about. So depending on what style you want to do, you've got this or you've got the hangar. But anyway, that is why this is in my number 3 spot. All right, guys, and in my number 2 spot, we have the thing that you guys should already know is in my top 5. The Casaca, aka the Cayo Perico heist. Now, I have done more videos on the Cayo Perico heist on this channel than anything else. If you guys have been around for a while, you'll know this. If you're new to the channel and you like the Cayo, you're in luck, because this channel is full of it. There's so many playlists and challenges and guides, and I will leave one of them, the latest one, in the description down below. But the Cayo Perico heist is one of the best solo ways to make money in the game, and in my opinion, arguably the best way. I know you're thinking, arguably, in your opinion, why didn't you put it at number 1 then? Well, that's because we have something else that just you can't deny how good it is right now. But this is still the most fun and the thing that I love the most. But the setup missions are super fast and easy. They'll take you around 30 minutes, 35 minutes to complete all of the setup missions, and they can all be done solo. Just make sure you have a Sparrow. Like I say, check out the link in the description to the Cayo guide. And then the finale itself. The finale, you can literally complete the finale. I've done it myself in like 3 minutes, 58 seconds. Now, that is if you're rushing it and trying to speed run it, and you're not going to get the most amount of money, but it is possible to do it in like 3 minutes, 59 seconds. Now, depending on what primary loot you get for the Cayo Perico heist, it could be the stinky tequila, it could be the ruby necklace, it could be the bearer bonds, it could be a pink diamond, which is what you want, Or it could be the panther statue, which comes a couple times a year, or maybe once a year. And it ranges anywhere from, like, I would say 800,000 to like 1.5 million every time you do it. It takes, like I say, 35 to 40 minutes to complete. But there is a cooldown for this. So that's the only downside. There is a cooldown of about 2.5 hours if you're doing this solo. But that's okay, because you can just go and do one of the other things that we have on this list here today. And a lot of people don't have that much time to play this game anyway. So let's say you've got an hour a day to play GTA Online. You can do the Cayo Perico heist every single day. You can log in, do the Cayo heist, and then do a few other little things. And then tomorrow, log in, do the Cayo Perico heist. So that is it. That is great. This is my favorite. I absolutely love it. You guys know this. Check out the link in the description for the guide. And in our number one spot, ladies and gentlemen, what could it be? What is taking out the Cayo Perico heist? Well, if you've been living under a rock over the last week, you may not have known about this, but inside of your mansion right now, there is a production boost that you can boost your businesses. I'll get into that and show you how it works here in a second. But the Acid Lab used to be like number 2 or 3 on my list, and now I've put it up to number 1. This is a recent change with this new DLC, the Safe House on the Hills, because of the mansion. But this business, the reason it's in my number 1 slot and it outdid the Cayo Perico heist is because it's a passive business. You don't need to do anything. All you need to do is go inside of the back of it. Now, first of all, to get this, you have to do the first and last dose missions. Once you've done those, you get the Brigade 6x6 for free, and then you have to pay, I think it's 750,000 to upgrade it to an Acid Lab. But once you've done that, this is a passive business. It runs in the background. You don't need to do anything. Come in here, buy supplies. You don't even have to buy them. But if you've been playing the game for a while, you know buying them is just the easiest thing to do. So it'll bring supplies here, and once a day, you can come to this location right here, and you can boost Acid Lab production. This will speed up your production of the Acid Lab to make it even faster, or make product even faster so you can sell it quicker, make more money. Now, right now, it is insane. And this isn't even, this goes like 2 times pay, multiple times a year. So at 2 times pay, this business is incredible, but let me tell you, let's jump back to the mansion, because we need to talk about how much money you're gonna make an hour with this thing passively in the background. It's kind of insane, guys. All right, guys, so before we get into the money, exactly how much you can make on this, let's just talk about the Acid Lab. So like I say, you do the first dose missions, the Acid Lab, and you get specifically the how much money you can make from a full Acid Lab in a public lobby, and how much money you can make inside of the freak shop where we just were. Saw him standing next to the Acid Lab, and then you can upgrade it to an Acid Lab. Now, there is some other upgrades that you're going to want to do as well, just to make it perform a little bit better. But you're looking at spending not too much, maybe about $1 million in total on the Acid Lab. And the great thing about it, like I say, it just runs in the background. So you don't need to do anything. And then when it comes to selling it, you're going to want to sell it in a public lobby so you can get the maximum boost. So if you go in a full public lobby, sell, you're going to be golden. And the majority of the time, selling in public lobbies, especially on the motorcycle, they can't lock on you. The motorcycle takes 5 missiles. So even if they manage to hit you, they gotta hit you 5 times. You should easily be able to sell that in a public lobby. And most people don't chase down people on motorcycles doing sell missions anyway, because they're just too nimble. But I did mention the boost. So let's say you've bought yourself a new mansion and you're like, hold on a second, how can I make how much money now? Just go on inside and find Jarvis. He's always on one of these bloody walls here somewhere. So run on over to this panel right here, and you can see the new thing is this. Temporarily increase the production speed of one of your businesses. Now, as of now, I don't even know if it's supposed to be this OP or if they're going to nerf it or not, but it boosts production for 24 hours, a real day. So if you boost it now, tomorrow, you'll be able to boost it again. So if we click boost, you can see right here, you can boost these businesses. Now, you may be thinking, hold on, you're talking about the Acid Lab. The Acid Lab's blacked out there. It says you can't do it. Well, that's because I boosted it yesterday. So you can't boost the same business back to back. You can only boost it once, and then you're going to have to move on and boost something else, and then move back and boost the Acid Lab. I don't personally, as a solo player, like any of the MC businesses. I wouldn't recommend any of these. The sell missions are just god-awful. So what I would recommend doing, and what I do, is in between doing the Acid Lab, the next day, do weapons. Because you can see right here, Acid Lab, unavailable. You cannot boost the production speed of this business right now because we just did it yesterday. So now we're going to go to weapons, and we're going to boost the weapons instead. And there we go. Production speed boost applied to the bunker. And that's another passive business as well. So what does it do exactly, the boost? I'm pretty sure it's like a 33% increase. And you can combine it with the boost that you do at the Acid Lab. You saw me show you, you can boost production. If you do both of them together, in 1 hour, you can make $500,000. And it's passive. So just make sure you're resupplying it. Make sure you boost it from your mansion, boost it from the Acid Lab. And that's 500 grand an hour. And that's why you're doing other things. And that is why the Acid Lab is my #1 solo way to make money in this game. If you guys have any questions, let us know in the comment section down below. Either myself or a member of the community will help you out. We have a fantastic community here. Our comment section is honestly like a Discord server. And if you have any other suggestions or your list differs than mine, let us know in the comment section down below. So if you're watching this video for help, you can go into the comments as well and see what the rest of the community thinks. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow as always with a brand new video. Goodbye.